This video is going to shoot from the hip because I don't have a script. I do like the script thing better because I sound a lot more collected. Anyways, yesterday's post about transsexuality, how it is our future, how it is that this is something that has been happening normally and basically becoming more and more overt. Like I watched today, there's a family, and it's an amazing story. It's about Kai Shappely. I hope I get the name right. Kai is spelled Kay, and Shapley is Shappley. Kai is a transgender female in Texas, of all places. The page them, I think it's THEM period. Um, but the page them on Facebook posted their story, and then I started digging around because what you see in this story with Kai and her mom Kimberly is that Kai's light and Kai's purity and Kai's truth in this kid, like this Kai, I believe Kai started saying Kai was a boy, a girl, at about 3 years of age, kind of thing, and Kimberly was a devout Texas Christian, meaning redneck, anti-gay, pretty much anti everything. And then there's that old saying that God will test you. And in this story, and you can find Kimberly and Kai on, they might be on YouTube. I know that there's a teen Vogue that talks about 7-year-old Kai Shappely on growing up trans. I liked it, so I hope it's in my videos. But anyways, so you have this little girl who literally is the reason why we can't ignore trans as a sexuality anymore. Sorry, not sexuality, but as an identity. Because Kai started talking about this when Kai didn't know any better, right? Kai literally basically kind of came out of the womb and was like, ta-da, I'm a girl, but I have a boy's body, but guess what? I'm a girl. And when you look at Kai as Kai is, it's really hard to see Kai as a boy. Because once Kimberly allowed her to start shining and just being herself, Kai really just kind of just, Kai is there. And Kai is absolutely stunning. I mean, if you're going to look at that being spiritual and talking about a soul and a bright light and, you know, for lack of a better phrase, the next Jesus, like someone who's important, someone who's bright, someone who's, whatever Kai ends up doing and choosing to do with her life, Kai's light right here, right now is fucking unbelievable. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's speechless. Like you really can't put a word on it, but you can go and see what Kai is doing. Like I said, the Teen Vogue thing is probably about 5 minutes long, according to the video I'm looking at. And it's like again, it's 7-year-old Kai Shappely growing up trans. Kai's mom tried everything she could to deter Kai from being transgendered. You will hear often in her story that Kai continually stuck to being truthful, which was, Mom, you know I'm a girl. Mom, you know I'm a girl. And how you can tell a 2, 3, or 4-year-old child that they're not what they say they are, and assume that this is some sort of mental deficiency. It's astounding that people would brainwash themselves so intensely because it's literally, I mean, there's just no way you can come up with a reason that a child at that age is going to say to you, guess what, I'm transgendered. Like I'm in, I'm this type of person. Um, and that's really what I wanted to speak to, is because the what I said before, in yesterday's video about like where we're going and how the trans community is shaping that. Kai is a perfect example. Kai is born in her energy is born into a body that doesn't suit the energy. The energy will then transform the body. Her energy has transformed, will not only transform her body eventually, but has transformed her own family. Has turned her mother from a hater to a lover. Has created a movement within herself for herself against all of the hatred. And for what reason? I mean, no child, just like Dr. Ford didn't want to come out and say to, in front of the world that Kavanaugh raped me. No child wants to come out in the world and say, hey, I'm just going to make my life as difficult as I can because, fuck it, why not? And especially when that child is 2 or 3 years old, like we have to start recognizing that transgendered is a thing and that the transgender community isn't going away, and it's only going to start probably growing. Um, because in the case of overpopulation and stuff, transgendered male to females, they stop the ability for us to reproduce. Homosexuality is slowing the reproduction level. Now, I don't want to go that far into it because that's a whole set of philosophies that are based in my thinking and not so much on point. But transgendered exists, and when you're in, when you're in my shoes and you're trying to figure out your own sexual identity after, 25 years of suppression or more, because I mean, I remember being in first grade and using high heels to make tapping sounds like Sammy Davis Jr. because I used to think tapping was a fucking amazing sound. And my mother would come and pick me up and be freaked the fuck out that I was wearing high heels because she wanted a boy. She didn't want a girl. She didn't want, And so we have all of the older generation, coming out much, much later and exploring and experiencing stuff that the younger generation has opened the door for us to do. Sexual repression at any level, whether you're actually heterosexual or cis is what they say, or whether you're trans or whether you're gender fluid or stuff. To repress the sexual identity is the most dangerous and most volatile problem that we face as humans. And the one thing that humans have done for centuries is to repress the sexual instinct. With the churches, all the Christian belief systems about no sex before marriage, sin and damnation, etc., etc. With female genital mutilation for women in some Muslim countries, things like this. These are all sexual repression because they deny the person who they are. And now that we have a much broader spectrum, we have to start opening up to that spectrum. We have to start recognizing that that spectrum is within all of us. It's inherent because it exists. So it has to be inherent within everybody. What I'm trying to get to on point, and I'll finish here, is go watch stuff about Kai Shappely. Go look at the Facebook page. Kimberly and Kai have something like 1,300 people or whatever. I started following them because Kai's light, Kai's beauty, Kai's everything about Kai shows me that there's, well, it leaves me speechless. I don't really know how to put into words what I see with Kai, except that I see something that is so beautiful and so precious and so magnificent that you can't deny that transgendered and all of these um, new experiences are happening and that we have to get on board with it. We have to stop believing that gender is a black and white issue. We have to stop believing that gender even exists within two genders, you know, because the world is changing and we're not changing with it. There's a lot of suppression and repression. When I started coming out as gender fluid, I experienced it. So we need to get on board that, and in the gay community, sorry, I keep running on here. The gay community has been very anti-trans, as the show Pose shows from New York in the 80s. And even to today, a large percentage of the older gay community doesn't understand trans. We understand drag queen, we understand drag king, we understand dressing up and taking it off. We don't understand what changing everything means. And so there's a lot of backlash within the gay community as well against transgendered. And the transgendered themselves, when you read some of the comments on pages like them, they're very angry. And it's like, okay, we have to stop the anger. So transgendered has to stop being angry that people don't understand. And the people who are angry that they don't understand need to fucking look at themselves and go, why am I bothered by this? Why am I scared of what I don't understand? Because that's just literally the Frankenstein story over and over and over and over and over again. But when you look at someone like Kai, you can put to rest all of those fears and all of those things because you start to see that there is a natural order here that you can't explain. And that's the beauty of it. She literally is the miracle, and so many kids like her are the miracle because you cannot explain why. You need to just start saying, okay, this is happening, this is, and I'm going to get on board. Anyways, that's 10 minutes of why you more than I expected, but yeah, peace, bitches.